You're listening to What No One Told Us, a podcast about the stuff we carry, the stories we live by, and the things we wish someone had said out loud. Real conversations, no quick fixes, just a space to pause, reflect, and maybe feel a little less alone. So whether you're on a walk, making the school run, hiding with a cuppa, or on the long drive to work, settle in. We are glad you're here.
Well, welcome back, Diego. This is part two of a conversation we started earlier around the five ways of well-being, um, paying homage and respect, obviously, to the fact that it has been Mental Health Week or even month in New Zealand. And the New Zealand Mental Health Foundation gave us this lovely little poster which talks about the five ways of well-being. And wow, the first part of that conversation was really rich, wasn't it? We covered some awesome ground around connection, being active, and what that means for you, the importance of breathing in that, and keeping learning and the role of achievement in that. So, wow, take a big deep breath, and as we move forward into the final two, we've got give. Were you surprised to see this on the Five Ways of Wellbeing? And I'll before you answer that, I'll just quickly read out the definition that the Mental Health Foundation have given for give, which says, do something kind or helpful for others, as giving back can improve your own well-being. Thoughts on that one, Diego?
Oh man, this is magical. That's giving is magical, and
Tell me
yeah,
more.
again, I'm gonna mention my current job.
Hmm.
That's one of the things that I love about my job is that I have the opportunity to serve, and
Mm.
which is and to give a lot, give things that don't belong to me as a service because they are part of the service, but also give attention, actually give extra things or give some um, uh, or give some help or give a smile or give a time to listen or all of those things that go out of you are magical. For me, they are it's something that really expand my life and makes me feel good, not as an adrenaline feeling good, it's just a good sense um of sharing of actually every time I give it feels like I'm giving it to myself as well, like when I give it to someone else.
But hang
And
on a minute, aren't you getting paid to do that?
I'm getting paid for to do that. Yeah.
So
I'm getting
what's the distinction? Would you still do it if you weren't getting paid?
Yeah, well, like we talked about previously about the richness of volunteering. I'll be giving your
Mm.
time for what you do. For example, you got your group about grief and our or when I was contributing to the for a short time
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
the restaurant, and also anything else you do. Like sometimes I have coaching conversations or that are not part of a business or anything. But it's not talking about what I give myself, but the action of giving is for me it multiplies life. It creates expansion and it creates also connection. It creates everything.
Mm.
For me, it's a beautiful. Yeah, it's probably one of the most beautiful items on this list. Give.
Then it's worthy of being there. God,
What?
it reminds me of a movie. I love this movie. Have you ever seen the movie Pay It Forward?
No.
No, it's about a young boy who comes up with this concept of paying a good deed forward by doing a good deed for another person on the condition that that person will then go on and pass the deed on to another and then another and another, and all of a sudden the movie is, a movement has been started, and at the center of that is this young boy who comes up with the concept, and he has a teacher as well who's also involved. Um, but that concept is like, again, it sounds like expansion, You start from a single point of doing a good deed for somebody else,
Hmm.
maybe from an unconditional perspective is an important distinction there. Now, this young boy had a condition attached to his deed of doing good, is that the person in taking on that would then have an obligation to pay it forward. So a good thing, right? But I think what this is referring to when we talk about it from a well-being perspective is doing something kind or helpful unconditionally.
Hmm.
Now, this is where it becomes tricky in my mind because I think some part of us is kind of pre-wired to what am I going to get back from this?
It doesn't say unconditional, Lloyd.
No, it doesn't, but I'm going to throw that in there because I think it's an important distinction. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of people doing good out there and giving, but there's something attached to it. And maybe that jeopardizes the sense of, real well-being there because you're not really doing it out of the goodness of your heart. You've got something there and that could even be at the most internal level where you're doing it because you want to feel better about yourself.
Good. Yeah.
Let me just throw that out there. And how does that land for you?
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah, no, just I'm gonna ask you, Lloyd, what's your connection with giving? Because yeah, I think I said a few things about giving. Um,
Yeah.
how do you relate? Because you give a lot, and
Oh, I have to constantly check myself with that very conundrum of something internal that needs to be satisfied. So much like we've talked about previously in terms of the parts of ourselves that show up that we don't necessarily want around. I think in episode 12, when we met Michael, we talked about the asshole within. Well, that's a pretty brutal way of defining, parts of ourselves that may have a hidden agenda. So I'm going to answer that very, very truthfully by saying that it is a work in progress. I understand the concept of giving and volunteering, and yes, I do volunteer a lot of my time, but I still have to wrestle with the conditionality of it. Where's that coming from sometimes? Um, yeah. You know, when I show up and volunteer my time for grief support services, it feels incredibly good. And when I say that I have to wrestle or I have to check myself, it's because there's still a little part of me that is looking for some sort of gain, right? Now, that's me being perfectly and really, really transparent there. And I'm
Mhm,
doing that in a way because I'm human. And I
mhm,
think we all have to be aware of that within ourselves,
mhm,
that constant checking of intention, of authenticity there. And I'm not there to fight with that part of me. I'm just there to acknowledge that it exists. And then I'm going to continue working to give in a volunteer capacity towards more of that unconditionality to it. And that I think is the ultimate goal. But it is a work in progress to answer your question. What about you? Do you ever notice when you're giving, maybe you're helping a little old lady with her groceries out of that coming out of New World or something like that, and you see she's struggling and you go over and you help her because you've got in your mind this thing that, well, I'm going to do a good deed for this person and I don't want anything in return. Is there a little, would there be a little sneaky kind of voice checking
Yeah,
in and go,
the,
oh,
the
you're a good
goal
guy, Diego.
the
You can
goal for
sleep
me,
easy
Lloyd, is
now.
that the goal for me is that when you're giving, not even have a thought about yourself, like you're giving it.
Mm,
Not you giving. It's like it is a give, you're giving,
mm,
but it's not nothing to do with you. It's the action you're at service. It's not you.
mm,
Um, there is no so it's not your ego doing it.
mm,
It's just an action or a moment or an energy or whatever it is. But also it's not on even the concept of giving is not there. You are actually helping someone instantly because there is something that you could do.
sure.
And then that action finishes, you get the connection and you keep going. Because the same way that happens when you give in, you receive it all the time, all right? It's just that, for example, when you are in a very busy place and someone stops for you to go through, then you stop for someone to go through, then you stop someone. Everybody's sort of giving
Mm,
somehow,
mm,
giving space or giving the so if everybody would be like and it is back a little bit to the concept of that we talked about before as well, the concept of village, all right? The concept
yeah.
of you are in a place where everybody has a role and everybody has a strength and everybody has a weakness uh, and the more you combine those weaknesses with those strengths, the more sort of the more equal or the more powerful that village is because
Harmonious is a word that comes to mind.
yeah, that's a very good word. Yeah, harmonious. So it's just
It works.
the group of moms, whoever is available, looking after the little kids.
Yeah.
The men, the old days, the men go and work. Everybody has the different skills and they complement each other and they build a team. And then and the gatherings, the singer, the player, the dancer, the storyteller, the everybody's giving and to whatever they have and without any requirement or you know
Mm,
so I see giving from that point of view, not from a list of things that I'm giving.
sure.
So
Is this
and
podcast is you showing up in this podcast an example of giving back for you?
what do you mean giving back? And
Well, if we're looking at giving as as a way of well-being, I mean, you're not getting paid to be here. You're here out of your own goodwill.
okay, this thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but 100%, Lloyd. But I, for me, it's again, it's not giving. I don't feel that I'm giving.
Oh,
I feel that I'm doing this with you as a again as a community,
yeah.
as something that came up
Yeah.
like naturally.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to put time apart. We need to plan a few things, but I have no, and that's also the magic of what I believe we're doing is because it is not a burden.
Yeah.
And it is not like I'm not expecting anything back
Mm,
because I know that some other people are doing different things where that I benefit from.
Mm.
And
Well, then it
yeah,
is giving back in some ways, isn't it? Because you may be receiving from others in that sense too. So
yeah, like the movie you described, you're right.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's and that's very, very important, right? Because and I remember it happened a lot in festivals where there's a lot of volunteers and you are having a lot of fun in the festival because there's people cleaning the toilets or picking up things from the ground so you don't get cut or something.
Mm.
And then well, there was a time where you choose to do that job so others can have the same fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
And same in my job, I get paid. I mean, it's my job, but I have the fi that thing that I'm serving, I don't know, whatever I'm serving to someone that is actually doing something else. So my role is to fill up that
Hmm.
for them, even though they pay for it or whatever. But let's take all the transactional so my role there is to give food, help them, or even protect them, or help them survive if there is a big accident.
Hmm.
So that's my role there. Then there's some of the people that have other roles, all right, and within my role, there's some people that have better some skills and some other skills. So, but that actually, I think is not how humanity evolved by
Absolutely.
giving until we got into this system, which is another.
Well, yeah, I mean, money, obviously, the monetization and the advent of money into society kind of was a real game changer. Prior to that, there was the village, wasn't it? And we exchanged goods and services, not for money, but for other services and goods. Um, and now we live in a world that's governed by money, I guess, and commodities are exchanged, and commodities have different value. But in the sense of giving for well-being of yourself and well-being of others, I think there's no greater commodity uh, that is available but time.
Mhm,
So if someone's listening to this and they're wondering, well, what can I give? Well, you can give your time, right? I mean, just giving your time to someone who is in need with no nothing other than that is an incredibly powerful thing to have at your own disposal, isn't it?
mhm.
So
For sure.
leaning into that as a commodity rather than, you know, an exchange of money is the true essence of service, isn't it? From one human being to another.
Mhm,
I show up and give you my time, and I will listen to you and hold space for you without judgment.
mhm,
And I expect nothing in return.
mhm.
So, yeah,
And
powerful, powerful. What a
and
world would look like if we all could lean into that a little bit more, huh?
oh my God, this is a new top. It's a big topic, and that includes as well for me how we are living in this society where, well, at least when I grew up, everything was tended to be like individualistic. It's just
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
more you do for yourself, and well, I mean, everything was tending to keep you isolated.
Yes. And aren't we living in the age of isolation, right?
So
Even as we are surrounded by people, we are feeling probably more disconnected than we've ever felt before. So,
yeah, and I totally agree with that. And so closing that gap is
absolutely.
something that I'm really, really active on, like with my obviously with my limitations, but it's trying to start closing that gap of, this is my territory.
Mm.
I mean, this is my this is mine.
I think, yeah, a little less of, that individualization and personal gain, replacing that with a little bit more community, shared experience, and what's mine is yours. And
Yeah.
will take us a long way, I think, to improving our sense of well-being and I think as well improving some of those statistics around mental health, particularly in New Zealand. And finally, we've got on the five ways of well-being, according to the New Zealand Mental Health Foundation, taking notice. So taking notice, according to them, is paying attention to the present moment, practicing mindfulness, and being aware of your surroundings. Well, again, that sounds all very well and good on paper, doesn't it? And geez, it seems to be a really hot topic at the moment. Like we're told to be mindful. But what does that really mean when you're in the middle of a shitstorm of grief or stress or anger, What does it really mean to be mindful in those moments? How do we kind of transfer the words on paper to the reality of everyday life? Any thoughts around that?
Mm. Well, we talk a lot about this, and I instantly have a word in my head that is pause.
Pause.
Yeah, pause, breathe, pause. Before we talk, well, in before this conversation, we talk about this little fight. I would call it a street fight, thoughts fighting to be right,
Mhm.
and just having the referee on the umpire saying, "Stop, go to your corners." What's happening? What's really happening? What's really happening right now?
Hmm.
Um,
What
and
happens when you pause?
yeah, what happened? But what is it? What is it happening? What
You're
is
you're
actually?
in, you're in the middle of like something really stressful, or I don't know, you just got the news from your boss that it's going to be a restructure, or you've got a massive car bill at the mechanics that you weren't expecting, maybe some health concerns have cropped up. The list goes on of all the different ways that life can throw stress, um, you know, generating, fear, worry, anger, frustration, all these challenging emotions. Someone says, be mindful, pause. Sounds like the antithesis of what we might be inclined to do in that moment, which is
Find solutions.
I need to fix this. I need to escape this. This is not okay. Why me? Why
Yeah,
now? Right? And that just becomes a layer of layer of layer. So, yeah, I'm not just talking from theory here. I'm talking from personal experience of someone who has suffered stress and has suffered more layers of stress by compounding rather than, like you say, pausing. So when we pause in that moment, what happens?
yeah. Actually, I was listening yesterday to my weekly Eckhart Tolle episode, and I would talk about that. The my life is full of that. Again, this is happening to me. What have I done? Or the mortgage, I cannot pay the mortgage, or I lost my job. Okay, what is really happening? there's nothing like I can pay the mortgage. It's not doesn't exist. I can pay the mortgage. There will be a moment that you need to pay the mortgage or and you need to give money, but in life, in this moment, there's no mortgage. It's your life. The mortgage is an invention. It's like something that you've done, but right now there is nothing. In this moment, what's happening to me is that I could hear the rain. I'm looking at you in the computer. I'm sitting here and we are talking about being present. What else happening?
God, I just keep thinking of the referee coming in on the fight and and stopping.
What else is happening, Lloyd? Tell me something else that is happening.
Now,
Mm. Where's your mortgage?
well, I'm about to pay it off, so big.
When? But not now. What's happening now?
It'll be gone. I'll be free. I'll be happy. No, it's not. It's not real. But the practicality of it, Diego, is that in that moment we really believe it is real, right?
Of course, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I can tell you what else is happening if I want to. I tell you, look, I have to start working at 2:25. I need to be at the airport. I finish my shift at midnight. I will be tired. I don't know where to eat. Oh, I need to iron my shirt. And also, I would like to talk to this person. No, I don't know where my kids are. And oh yeah, I need to talk to Lola because I don't know what time she's gonna come. Oh, Franco is going to Tarang. Is he gonna be fine in the trip? Am I a good father because I'm letting him driving his car and I'm not letting my car? Am I connecting with the people in my house? Oh, I would like to talk
Whoa,
to.
whoa, whoa. Bring the referee back. Bring the referee back. Break it
This
up.
is
Break it
also,
up.
yeah, this is what could be happening.
Yeah.
But what is happening? None of that is happening. And that's what we refer to stop.
I
You're
guess
not.
when you stop, when you pause, then you create a space
Mhm.
to be able to shift. I mean, if we look at it just from a physiological perspective in terms of stress and the effect it has on the body, by pausing and then taking a deep breath, that's probably the first thing, right?
Mhm.
What does that do for the body when we do that? It makes us feel a bit calmer. And from that place, I guess we can start to see with clarity some of those things that's going on in the head, you're right, and not actually existing because none of them have happened yet. So yeah, we do. I understand what you say. Yeah, we do have a mortgage and that we're worried that we won't be able to pay it. But do we have to pay the mortgage right now? Is
No.
that kind of what you're saying? It's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
it's not present. So therefore, we're not being mindful because we're not addressing what is happening in the moment.
Uh-huh. And it's the story about everything else that is in the future. And same thing with the worries about everything else that was in the past. And then we live constantly on that, on a non-reality uh, world and in our heads. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that I got it. It's a place where I point towards most as much as I can, and I'm practicing to get into that. As much as possible, going back to that moment where put things in perspective, what's actually happening,
Mm.
and then from there, from that emptiness of what's actually happening right now, I can actually choose what I'm doing, all right? I can actually decide. I can actually reflect. I could actually feel. Again, there's not lion chasing us. If it is a lion, just run, yes, as much as I can, as much as fast as you can, save your life. But the threats that are in our heads, nothing to do with lions. So yeah, both. I'm doing it all the time, Lloyd. I've been very annoying this week, triggering some people at work. There is a very sort of it's a very sort of common conversation where it's like, oh, how much time to go? Oh, when are we landing? Okay. Oh, we need to do 3 more flights and when we are done. And then and I'm a bit like a little bit silly, but um I said, do you know that all your life and everything you got is right now? Why let's enjoy your full life now. My full life is right now with you. I don't have anything else than this moment. There's absolutely nothing else than this moment in my life. And we're chasing the moment where we are not going to be here, the moment where we're not going to be there. And then it's going to be that moment. And then that moment will come up. Oh, I want another moment. I don't want this moment. We're constantly not living in the moment that we are. We're constantly chasing another moment that will look like something that we think it's going to look like.
Yeah, and I think in terms of pausing and being mindful in that moment and creating that separation so you can see what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You can also see what's happened in the past and remember that you've gone through this before many times over, and my goodness, you're still here to tell the tale, to remember. So trust yourself that you'll be okay to meet this new challenge when you need to meet it, but not before then, right?
And normally, Lloyd, it's going to be amazing. It's always amazing. We have no idea of that, but I remember. I'm not picking on you, but it's a good exercise, and I'm going to use one example. But how hard was to start make the decision to put your house on sale and do all the things and the worries about that and blah, 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 and now it's gone. So what do we do with the moments where there was a lot of stress? Do you think that that stress created the sale of the house? I'm just picking on you on this example, but just to use it because it's some.
Well, I'm the only one here, so
Uh,
by default.
I can use my own example, but what I'm saying is that there is a for me there is a thought that if I don't stress and if I don't worry, things are not gonna come out right.
Yeah, well, stress is just a waste of time, isn't it? Because
Uh, and and then stress takes you out of the moment all the time, and also it has a big repercussions of on your well-being, and your body doesn't like it.
oh,
A
for sure.
little, a little bit maybe every now and then, when there is a lion approaching,
Hmm.
uh, but we don't have 'em. many lions around,
Hmm.
I guess. But yeah, relaxed and action what you need to action, but don't. The only thing you can do is whatever you action, your thoughts are not doing anything, and it's such a beautiful way of living if we could actually practice that more
100%.
often.
100%. It's a game changer. Um, well, just looking again at this list that we have here of the 5 ways to well-being. We started with connection, and then we moved into being active, and then the benefits of learning in
Yeah,
terms of stimulating our mind, and that effect on well-being, giving, doing something, kind, helpful for others.
yeah.
Um, And then
Like,
finally taking notice, but specifically around mindfulness. One thing just suddenly occurred to me thinking about mindfulness is how mindfulness is actually kind of starts to interplay with some of those other elements there. Like, when we actually pause and take a moment, we're connecting to ourselves in that moment. We're connecting to the present moment. We're connecting to what is rather than what hasn't happened yet or what has happened in the past. I guess if we're breathing, we're actively engaging our physical sense, right? So we're in that being active element. We're learning, maybe we're learning a bit about ourselves and how we respond to stress, right? So we're maybe choosing another path or another response. So we're effectively learning new skills in terms of changing neural pathways, right? So tick that box. Are we giving? Maybe, yeah, I'm giving something back to myself in this moment instead of taking away hair or creating more wrinkles and graying or affecting my well-being with unnecessary stress. So an act of self-care, of giving. So when I look at that, it's like, wow, they actually are all kind of interconnected in some way. So we do one, we can kind of do the other as well. Or maybe if just for fun, we could take connection and say, well, when we're connecting, how many of those other boxes are we ticking? Do you see where I'm going with that?
it's all that's I'm reading the word well-being.
Hmm.
Um, well-being, well, it's a talk about being, and I think the work, all these all these words point out, and who are you being? Are you pointing out to a well-being? What's a well-being? Oh, well, it's being where it's a reference to who are you being? How's your being?
Absolutely. And it's not
And
called well-doing, and that's a really important
yes,
distinction, isn't it?
yes.
Because we're all
So,
very good at doing, maybe not so much being.
so if you say I'm being connected, I'm being active, I'm being mindful, I'm being generous, and that's who I'm being,
Mm,
what my being is, and then we act from there. It's not these checklists are even said well-being looks like more I need to do this, I need to connect as a doing, or I need to be active as a doing, or I need to learn as a doing, or give as a doing, or take notice as a doing. But we can have those words as a being.
mm.
It goes deeper. It's not a one-off. You are that.
It's not so transactional.
It's not transactional. You are a connection. You are connecting.
Yeah.
It's not you connect. You are that. You are active. You are. It's not, it's like, and I use that a lot of with the word with another words, with love.
Mm,
When you are love, you, you are in love. You that's it. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing to do. When you start, because when we are not being this, we are being something else. It's not that we are being nothing. So many times we don't know, but we are being angry, we're being upset, we're being intolerant, we're being close, we're being. So we are constantly being, but you can choose who do you want to be.
Mm.
And that's in my world, that's what I do every morning. As when I journal, I decide who am I going to be today. I put it out there. This is how I intend that I'm going to be today. So then I don't need to worry about doing, because I'm already being that.
Beautiful. Love it. And I think that's a really nice place to finish part 2 today of, I guess we can call it a special edition, mental health awareness.
With a checklist, with a little structure.
Yeah, we covered off the 5 ways of wellbeing today, and I might just pose a question to the audience. The takeaway today is, if there's anything on, or any one of those 5 ways of wellbeing that maybe you feel like you could lean into a little bit more, or improve, or bring into your life a little bit more, which one would it be? And what's one thing that you could do to start bringing a little bit more of that? Whether it's connecting with a stranger at the bus stop when you may have just ignored him in the past. Maybe it's diving into some study that you've been putting off for a while, or learning a new language. Mindfulness. Well, it's been thrown around a lot these days, but what does it really mean to be mindfulness, and how could mindfulness be a part of your life? Simple little things, just like Diego talked about, pausing in those moments, taking a breath and realizing what is in the moment instead of everything else, and trusting yourself that you can, you've gone through hard things before and you can get through them again. So lots of really interesting thoughts there. Any final words from you, Diego, before we sign off?
I think I've done a lot of words.
You're all worded out.
Have you got anything lingering, Lloyd?
No, nothing lingering other than thank you so much again for your time, Diego. I love to hear everything that you have to offer. And until next time, we will take care, stay safe. And again, let me remind all of people out there that Diego and I are available outside of the podcast if anyone wants to chat about anything at all. All our details are in the show notes. Don't be afraid to reach out and connect. And that seems to be the theme today. Connection is good for our well-being. So just do it. Bye for now.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Thanks for listening to What No One Told Us. If anything in today's episode landed with you, stirred something, or made you feel seen, we are glad you're here. Lloyd and Diego are always open to connecting, and you'll find links to reach out, follow along, or learn more in the show notes. If you are enjoying the podcast, make sure you hit subscribe on Spotify and follow us on Instagram and Facebook to stay connected between episodes. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.